Welcome to the 2018 NCAA Men's Lacrosse Rules and Officiating video. This video was created to prepare and educate the NCAA lacrosse community for the upcoming season. Please note that this video is intended to be educational, and the use of video footage is in no way intended to embarrass any team or official. To set the agenda for this presentation, we will cover several important aspects of the game. We will discuss the current status of the game, the committee's points of emphasis, and future rules considerations. Before we look at some specific topics, it's important to note the current state of NCAA men's lacrosse. After making significant rules changes several seasons ago, the sport has benefited from a faster tempo and fewer stoppages. Lacrosse continues to grow nationally, and at all three divisions, the sport is healthy. It's important to pause and note this growth and success. One important note deals with the committee's approach to the shot clock. In recent rule cycles, the committee has taken several steps to improve the pace of play and limit the amount of stalling that occurs. These efforts have been largely successful, evolving from the old stalling rules to the timer on call to today's shot clock procedure. The cautious approach is important because if an every possession shot clock is utilized, it will, without a doubt, change the game. It would be extremely difficult to backtrack from such a rules change if the impact of a shot clock was negative. This is why the committee is utilizing the experimental rule process and survey extensively. The committee will review all aspects of the sport and our rules at its August 2018 annual meeting. The Rules Committee has focused on the following points of emphasis: player safety, face-offs, shot clock, and bench decorum. Player safety is the first consideration when rules and procedures are made. Progress certainly has been made, and the committee continues its focus this season. It's important for officials to continue to focus on protection of players that have recently released a shot or pass, and to protect against contact in the head or neck area. This is a good example of a foul that occurs after a player has released a shot or pass. The player in blue is pushed by the player in white, and another defensive player hits the player after the pass is released. This was properly penalized with 2 fouls against the white team. Here is a foul that must be called without exception. The player in white has possession and is moving the ball upfield. A defending player who is sprinting after him throws a wild check and is correctly called for slashing.
Fouls on red. 4-0 slash. 1 minute.
In this play, there is a loose ball and the players are fighting for possession. As the team in white gains possession, an opponent uses a cross-check and hits a vulnerable player. This is correctly called as a 1-minute cross-check foul. This set of plays illustrates a player who shoots or is otherwise vulnerable and takes a high check that should be called in all cases. Officials with the shooter's area of responsibility must stay with the shooter to properly enforce these fouls. It should be noted that the last foul in this sequence was correctly enforced as a 2-minute non-releasable foul.
Unnecessary. 1 minute.
Face-offs continue to be a critical part of the sport, and the new face-off mechanics used last season have helped better adjudicate this play. These efforts will continue this season, and a few trends will be noted in this segment. This clip shows the proper setup for the face-off. Note that the official has one player adjust the position of his head to align with the opponent's stick. While this is well done and a fair face-off is conducted, the stick alignment could still be moved a little further to the left prior to the set command. A concerning trend is illustrated in the next few examples. One of the face-off players loses the initial draw for the ball and uses his stick to rip through the opponent's arm. This type of play is dangerous and can be difficult for officials to detect. Coaches are asked to ensure that your face-off players do not use this tactic. Officials are instructed to penalize these acts without exception. Another tactic that has emerged is face-off players using their head to contact the opponent in an effort to win the ball. The following clips illustrate this approach. Besides the obvious health and safety concern, this action is a face-off violation and must be called when detected. Officiating the aftermath of the face-off is important and illustrated well in this play. The yellow team face-off player wins the face-off, but then uses his free hand to ward off. This can be difficult to see with wing players coming in, but a ward should be called here. As a reminder, this would not be a face-off violation. These two clips show a need for an adjustment in mechanics on the face-off. The first clip shows the far side wing players, the ones closest to the camera, engaging in activities that go undetected by the officials. To eliminate this type of illegal contact during face-offs, an adjustment in officials' positioning and mechanics will be used in 2018. The assisting official will open up slightly to observe the wing players to his right, as well as his usual duties of observing the face-off players. This adjustment will allow this official to view those plays and officiate them consistently, and be in a physically better position to avoid contact. The lead right official in front of the opposite bench area shall adjust his position to be able to observe the far wingmen. The second example shows the benefit of this mechanic, as well as a great example of a prolonged ground ball. One area of concern identified by many coaches throughout last season deals with pick plays. This is obviously a big part of the sport, and in many cases, picks are set legally and are an important part of an offensive play. This section hopes to illustrate picks that cross the line into illegal contact and also show legal examples. This is a good example of a legal pick. The player in the dark uniform sets himself, keeps his stick within the frame of his body, and doesn't move into the path of the defender. This group of plays shows examples of good legal picks. In some cases, significant contact occurs, but the picks are set legally and within the rules. This set of plays are illustrations of picks that are illegal because the player setting the pick is moving or has the stick outside of the frame of his body and makes contact. This play shows a good legal pick, but the defending team player makes illegal contact to drive through the pick. Some contact by the defense is allowed during pick plays, but this crosses the line, especially with the contact to the head and neck area.
Black, 2-0, cross check, 1 minute.
As noted earlier, progress continues to be made with the current shot clock rules. Several examples in this section are intended to underscore key elements of the shot clock call. Most of these clips are focused on the restart after a shot clock expires. In this play, the first quarter is winding down, with the team in white gaining possession. This is a good example of the officials allowing the team in possession to run its offense. And after a reasonable amount of time, the shot clock is put on. As the shot clock winds down, there are 4 seconds remaining as the restart takes place at the end line. It's obvious that the team in possession is going to let the clock expire. Officials properly allow the clock to expire before whistling the play dead and correctly wait to restart the play only after the player in red gains possession. In this situation, a shot clock has been put on the offensive team. As the shot clock period is expiring, a loose ball occurs and the shot clock expires. Officials correctly rule a shot clock violation has occurred since the defensive team never gained possession. The player in white properly drops the ball on the ground, and an opposing player scoops the ball up and is immediately ready for a quick restart. Officials properly allow the restart to occur quickly to allow the advantage of the rule to take place, as red immediately moves upfield for a possible fast break. Good awareness and management of this play. As time expires on the shot clock, the offensive team fires a shot on goal that is saved by the goaltender exactly as the horn is sounding. Officials correctly allow this play to continue without stopping play as the goaltender quickly gains possession and has the opportunity to create a fast break for his team on the clear. In this play, the team in white is on offense during a shot clock situation. The shot clock expires and the ball is correctly dropped immediately. Officials do a good job of allowing a quick restart for the defending team.
And they won't get one off.
The over and back rules are the next topic for review. These examples are shared to help understand the officiating responsibilities with regard to restarts and how the rules should be enforced. This is a clear over and back situation where the attacking team in white makes a pass that doesn't connect and goes across the midline. A red team player picks up and possesses the ball, and officials blow the whistle quickly to indicate the over and back. The officials do a great job of quickly restarting the play. This play is a great example of play at the midline. The offensive team in black has a pass go back toward the midline. The two players on the other half of the field both attempt to play the ball. The offensive team player does a good job of keeping the ball on the offensive half without possessing the ball. The official correctly allows the play to continue, and the attacking team eventually regains possession. This clip shows a clear over and back call, which is indicated by the official. The officials do a good job of allowing play to continue, and the team in the dark uniforms gains clear possession without pressure from the opponent. Play is not stopped and allowed to continue. This section deals with plays around the crease. These plays continue to be the most difficult to adjudicate. The committee continues to discuss the rules regarding crease area play, as it is an exciting play in the sport of lacrosse. As a reminder, things officials must consider when managing these plays are the feet grounded? Did the attacking player launch himself? Was there a defensive foul? Did the ball enter the goal before the attacking player touched the crease? Was there contact with the goalkeeper? Officials are instructed to focus as narrowly as possible on judging the facts of the play, for example, a foul versus no foul, or crease versus no crease, and not to speculate where a player might have ended up if he had not made contact with another player. The most important facts are, number one, if contact was made, for example, a foul versus no foul, and number two, if the player ends up in the crease as a result of his decision to leave his feet. These are examples of crease violations where a goal, if scored, would not count. Here are examples of legal goals where the defensive team fouls the attacking player with a push. In this play, the attacking player stays completely out of the crease and scores. Of continued and increasing concern to the committee is bench decorum. Again, these examples are not intended to single out any team or coach, but simply provided to illustrate the issues with our bench areas. The sidelines have become crowded, and increasingly coaches and other personnel are stepping into the field during play to communicate and in many cases argue with officials. Officials are asked to warn and then penalize teams that encroach into the field of play. Negative bench decorum, including unacceptable language and behavior from the bench area, is a bad look for our sport and must be addressed. Additionally, teams are reminded that only the head coach is designated by rule to communicate in a respectful manner with game officials. As is the case with other sports, lacrosse officials are instructed to tighten up on this standard this season. Here, the head coach of the team in white is clearly attempting to direct his players at the end of the game. The assistant coach does a great job of dragging his head coach back to the bench area before he receives a potential conduct foul. The committee has several items on its list for future consideration. As reviewed earlier, the shot clock will be discussed at length overall. If the rules do not change, however, a discussion should be had regarding plays when the attacking team takes a valid shot and regains possession. In those cases, it's been suggested that the shot clock should be reset, but since possession is still with the team already warned for stalling, the clock will be restarted at 30 seconds upon possession. The size of the substitution box, which was expanded several years ago, will be reviewed. The committee's intent with the larger area was to allow more fast breaks and to clean up what can be a congested area. In many cases, however, the defensive advantage gained by substituting has negated some fast breaks. While no changes are imminent, the committee will continue to review stick and equipment specifications to be sure the rules continue to protect the integrity of the game. New innovations in this area in the manufacturing community are welcome, but the committee must balance the integrity and history of the game as items are developed. The committee has discussed adjusting the crease rules to explore allowing offensive players to score a goal and land in the crease with some restrictions. Any change in this area would need to be made carefully and with the safety of the players at the forefront. This will be a discussion topic moving forward. This concludes this year's preseason video. Thank you for viewing this presentation and good luck on a successful season.